Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to delve into some of the big changes that we're going to see in Star Citizen's future with ship updates, combat changes and new mechanics that are all going to affect the experience for the player in a huge game-changing way. We will be talking about master modes, physicalized components, physicalized damage, risk and loss, customization, modularity and much more. Let's start with master modes. Cloud Imperium started talking about the changes that they're going to be making to what is effectively travel mode versus combat mode. So we're talking here about QCM, quantum control mode, and SCM, standard control mode. Put simply, QCM is travel mode. You can quantum travel long distances in this mode in your ship, boost short distances, sort of boost wherever you want in a direction, a quick little quantum boost, and then cruise at above your normal SCM speeds. However, you don't have access to shields or weapons. SCM is combat mode, effectively, allowing you to use shields and weapons and other items like mining lasers to do the functions of your ship. But you can't go into quantum travel or above your SCM speeds. This basically makes combat a choice, reduces jousting when in combat and the sort of range that combat occurs in. If you want to run away from combat, then you're going to have to be putting yourself in danger as you drop your shields, and it's a very much more sort of, oh yeah, I'm definitely running away. The resource management system is also something Cloud Imperium are working on. This is actually a bunch of gameplay all bundled together. It's the circuitry of a ship, and its fuel and power being used by components, its life support systems, and it allows for engineering gameplay, repair, damage control, fire propagation, and connects all the physical components and physical damage of a ship all together. You'll be able to reroute power, you'll be able to have damaged systems which you need to replace and repair. Engineers will need to go and sort out fuses and circuitry of the ship as it gets more and more sort of damaged. Fires might break out and you need to put them out. This will allow for true multi-crew gameplay. Physical damage. This will expand various types of weapons and projectiles and have them sort of damaging what they actually hit. You hit the hull, you pass through the sort of ship, maybe you hit a component. Armor will be a thing and actually work in a much better fashion. It replaces the artificial health pools with a more sim-driven system. Cloud Imperium are also currently updating all of their sort of older ships at the moment to have physical components, or at least space for physical components, so the appropriate cupboards and sort of places to put all of those. They are doing the ships that are important for Squadron 42 first, which may take a while, and then they're going to be going into all of the ships. Newer ships are built with this in mind already. This is also obviously connected to physical damage, the resource management system, physical components, all that jazz works together, really. It's worth mentioning that when you hear Cloud Imperium talk about gold standard for ships, that means bringing them up to current sort of tech and feature levels with the latest dev branch of the patch of the game version. So the gold standard changes from patch to patch technically. However, some ships would need only a tiny amount of work to bring them up to current gold standard. There does kind of need to be sweeping updates to almost all the ships, even if it's quite minor, to get them ready for resource management system, physical damage, and physical components. Sort of bear that in mind. It is going to take a while before all the ships are there. But all of these systems are coming together to change the very fundamentals of ship combat and movement around the verse. It is going to be a huge, monumental change. The soft destruction system, let's actually talk about this. The Cloud Imperium are putting this in for Alpha 3.18. This system will actually be replaced once we have component damage and ships being able to be disabled in a more accurate way with physical components, physical damage, and the resource system. That said, in the short term, soft destruction, also known as soft death, is absolutely awesome. For players that don't know, in Alpha 3.18, when a ship is destroyed, there's a high chance for it not to explode and instead be permanently disabled. So you can then board it or sort of salvage it, steal its cargo. NPCs aboard these ships will be just killed when the ship sort of reaches zero health. But players will survive this, and then they can defend their ship from intruders. If you want to go aboard and steal a ship's cargo after sort of disabling it this way, well, you might have to deal with those players. This is going to be very interesting with bounties as well, because you might want to go and deal with someone after you've shot the ship, and you might not want to just blow it up, because potentially you can blow these up by doing over damage by keep on shooting at the target after it's been sort of disabled. Another interesting point is currently player death means very little. You might lose equipment on you and cargo and your ship, but you can just reclaim your ship. Death of a Spaceman and True Insurance, they're going to change the way players see loss in game once it's released. Death of a Spaceman, this is going to have players sort of, when they die in game, they sort of regenerate as one of their clones. However, if you die too many times, you might permanently die, and as you die along the way, your character might show signs of wear and degeneration. This, eventually when you sort of perma-die, and this will have you create a new character that inherits all your assets, but there might be some level of death tax, and it's definitely going to hugely affect your reputation from what your previous character had, like what factions they were really friendly with, and all that sort of stuff might change heavily, because, well, there's likely to be some carryover, because, like, sins of the father and all that, but it's likely to have heavily deteriorated. But you're not going to want to die. You're going to want to try and survive wherever you can. You're not just going to go, oh, pirates have turned up, I'm just going to detonate my own ship. Boom. Insurance changes. So at the moment, we sort of do have insurance in-game very lightly. Basically, you can just reclaim a ship. It's not really insurance. Everyone has it on all their ships. So in the future, you're going to have to spend a small amount of in-game credits to insure your ship. And if you don't insure your ship, you might permanently lose it when it's destroyed. You are likely going to have to pay more if you want to insure changes and customized items and components on your ship, because basic insurance will just cover your sort of standard default hull and loadout. So we might even be able to insure cargo in the future. Exactly how this all works, we don't know, but you're not going to want to lose your ship even if you've got it fully insured. So these systems are partly to motivate and sort of give the economy a bit more drive so you don't have like mega inflation, but it also will help players go, I don't want to lose my stuff. You might sort of pay more insurance premiums beforehand, knowing that you're going to be doing dangerous things. It's the idea there. Death of a Spaceman and insurance updates are going to make players really think twice about doing dangerous tasks, how they play, how do they try and avoid death, surviving a combat, but being in a disabled ship might have you using an escape pod. You might more regularly bring escorts with you, for example, or put out service beacons to get people to come and save you. What I'm kind of getting at is that Star Citizen's ship combat, mortality, and why players are currently sort of playing gameplay-wise, the sort of motivations, are kind of a placeholder for the systems to come. SCM combat will slow down dogfighting speeds and reduce ranges. Damage control and repair will make larger ships very powerful if well maintained and sort of damage triage, but it will give you true multi-crew gameplay. You're going to be able to run a ship with everyone doing cool stuff and really helping each other out while like doing engineering tasks and repair and sort of manning the guns. And there's going to be lots of stuff where you might want to do scanning, and there's obviously loads of gameplay features coming in the future with sort of e-war. Players are going to want to consider what loadouts they're going to run for each mission, and also when to actually run away from a fight or to actually get engaged in combat, when to call for help. And they're going to be very much more aware of mortality and danger. Ship loss versus risk and reward will help drive the economy. Physical components will allow for players to individually target subsystems and then take them out and try and take them out, especially when fighting sort of capital ships. Cloud Imperium recently said they were going to be making some aiming and targeting changes and updates as well as some updates to ballistic weapons again in the near future. And it's likely these will be tweaked a few more times before the major systems come online that we've discussed. And obviously, eventually, once they do all come online, well, then they need to all be balanced together in earnest. But at that sort of stage, we are going to be in a good position to have a proper balance rather than lots of sort of spaghetti balance, as I would call it, sort of like lots of patches on top of each other, lots of sort of like placeholder fixes on top of each other that are currently maintaining the current game's meta. At least that's how I see it. I did also briefly want to mention customization and modularity. We will eventually have components having a huge variety in-game. Dozens of components, each with their own pluses and minuses. Obviously, Cloud Imperium sort of standardized a load of these just within size brackets at the moment, but eventually we're going to have loads and loads and loads and loads of choice within the same size bracket and for whatever task you want. So I'm expecting to spend loads of time coming up with loadouts for ships in the same way that I used to for EVE Online. Having some very valuable rare components and a massive amount of choice will be a thing as well. Some stuff is going to be more costly just to run, and sort of ships costs, that will be a thing as well. So my choices, I want them to be guided by what missions I'm on, what I'm planning to fight, all that sort of jazz, how long I'm planning to stay out in the verse, and how much it's going to cost me. Cloud Imperium have also started talking about modularity again with the unveiling of the RSI Galaxy concept ship. Some ships will have the ability to change out large sections of their ship with a specialized module focusing on a gameplay mechanic. So this could be medical bay or a cargo bay or torpedo launchers, dropship modules, refineries, and much, much more. Ships like the Galaxy, Caterpillar, Endeavour, they're going to have a huge amount of modularity potential, but there's lots of other ships that have some modules that they can fit as well, and I suspect some of the ships that we already have in game, they'll go, well, actually, some of these could actually have modular changes too. So these choices in gameplay and customization will affect how players plan and deal with the encounters in the game, and sort of what ships right for the mission that I'm doing. Boom. That's it for our exploration of some of the changes that are coming to Star Citizen's ships and combat within the next couple of years. I am really interested to know what you think as well, though. Are you welcoming of all these changes and updates? Are you concerned about any? Are you much more interested in getting to the destination rather than the journey there? Is the thought of soft destruction in Alpha 3.18 awesome? And do you shy away from risky or PvP gameplay? Are you thinking that some of the plans for the future of the game will really enhance it? Or are you sort of like, oh no, I don't like those ideas? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Ho ho ho! Merry Nordmas!
It's Santa!
No, Timmy, it's Father Nordmas. I'm legally distinct and spread NordVPN cheer. Here you go, little Tim. Have some discount on your next NordVPN purchase. Just what you wanted. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
But Santa, we don't want a VPN.
I told you, Tim, it's Father Nordmas.
Every month we have a ship giveaway. For December, we are giving away the mighty Drake Corsair Explorer with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. This no-nonsense Explorer can take you and 3 friends to the limits of adventure around the verse. And although more focused on exploration and expedition, it is a great multi-role mission runner too. Comment on any of my videos during December to be in for a chance of winning that. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the videos, leave comments, and if you feel so inclined, use the join button under my videos and give a little bit each month to help the channel. It really, really does help. Or you can even become a Patreon or donate. Check out all the links below. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great time in the verse.